We anticipate significant storm surge and intense wind moving into the area as the storm impacts our community. The time to leave is now. This is the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Mandatory evacuations have been ordered for your area. Please leave now. We anticipate significant.
Well, it's getting real.
Well, Florida will soon be facing down a monster storm, the second in less than 2 weeks. Milton is now a Category 5 hurricane and is roaring towards places like Tampa and Orlando and is expected to make landfall late Wednesday night.
Hi everyone, Florida is going to be hit again, and that is an absolute disaster because they're still dealing with the aftermath of the terrible Hurricane Helene. It's heartbreaking to see the pictures, especially in North Carolina, where people haven't been helped properly. But in Florida, another tropical storm, Hurricane Milton, is now a Category 5, and it's hitting an area that hasn't experienced a hurricane in a long time.
And as we all have heard so many times now, you hide from the wind and run from the water. And we are talking about right now the possibility of a direct hit with 10 to 12 foot tidal surge. Put that in perspective, Hurricane Helene, which just left the Tampa Bay area a week ago, there was 6 foot storm surge, and that was literally devastating to so many.
And another problem that we have in Florida, debris from Helene is still lying around in the streets, and that could be like rockets when the next storm hits, because debris that is now lying around everywhere, they could like be projectiles being pushed around by the next storm and could do so much damage. It's absolute devastating.
It's crazy, and it's about to get worse.
A snapshot of one Tampa neighborhood. Contents of entire homes kicked to the curb, waterlogged and destroyed from Hurricane Helene. It's now Milton, the second hurricane to hit Florida in just as many weeks.
So Florida's Gulf Coast has been storm battered, and now they are racing against a Category 5 hurricane again that's coming towards them. So workers are heavily working, picking up appliances that are lying around and stuff like this, bringing debris to landfills. Helene hit over 2 weeks ago, but still stuff is clogged with stuff and people are trying to flee the storm now, right?
What would you say to people tonight who are saying, you know what, I'm going to ride this out, I've ridden others out? What would you say to people who aren't heeding those evacuation orders?
They may have done that in others. There's never been one like this. And this Helene was a wake-up call. This is literally catastrophic. And I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Wow. I mean, that is an incredibly blunt message. And I know you have a lot of experience dealing with these storms. You don't say something like that lightly, Mayor.
I've never said that.
Highways are clogged. So where could Hurricane Milton make landfall?
We are preparing, and I have the State Emergency Response Team preparing for the largest evacuation that we have seen, most likely since 2017 Hurricane Irma.
So the center of Milton could come ashore Wednesday in the Tampa Bay region. And that's a problem because people are not really experienced with hurricanes.
Milton intensified to a Category 5 earlier today, churning its way to Florida's Gulf Coast, expected to hit Wednesday, potentially turning debris left from Helene into flying ammunition.
That creates a huge hazard if you have a major hurricane hit in that area.
It's kind of like getting punched in the face twice.
Tampa Bay is a region that has not endured a direct hit by a major hurricane in more than a century. So, you know, they're not experienced in what to do. So scientists expect the storm system to weaken slightly before it will make landfall, but only slightly, so it will still be a full strong hurricane. And also they're saying it could retain strength again when it's going across central Florida, across the Atlantic Ocean. So it seems like central Florida will also get its fair share. The only, I don't even want to say good in relation to this is, but if it goes across central Florida towards the Atlantic, it could largely spare other states that have been ravaged by Helene, and at least 230 people are lost, and probably way more, because so many are not accounted for or haven't even been found. It's absolutely tragic when I see reports from North Carolina where people there are making videos and saying, we're completely cut off from everything, help these people. FEMA is not doing enough. They're not letting normal people come in and help. So they're asking, they say, if you have private helicopters, come, 4x4s, come, because we can only get to those people with horses, mules, on foot, or 4x4s or something like this. It's absolutely breaking my heart when I see what's going on there, what is still going on there right now. If you are interested in this, Google it, check out on social media what people that actually live there are saying and posting. It'll break your heart, and to this day I do not understand why they don't receive more help from the government and the military. The Appalachian Mountains have been hit so hard, so let's hope and pray that this hurricane will not do more damage to what has already been done there.
The track of Milton could be one Tampa Bay hasn't seen in 100 years, meaning unprecedented storm surge. If Milton's eye goes just to the north of the bay, that would mean a worst-case scenario for the storm surge in Tampa Bay. The onshore wind direction will send the ocean waters funneling into the bay with nowhere to go, creating devastating impacts.
But the mayor, Jane Castor of Tampa, has made a statement in a news conference today and, quote, "This is the real deal here with Milton. If you want to take on Mother Nature, she wins 100% of the time." Yeah, and that is really true. And you see pictures of people preparing for the storm, boarding up their storefronts, their windows. Also today, Governor Ron DeSantis has made a statement, and he said it's imperative that debris from Helene has to be cleared before Milton's arrival so that these pieces will not become dangerous flying objects, projectile-like objects. Also, they have issued evacuation orders. Forecasters have warned of a possible 8 to 12 foot storm surge, that's 2.4 to 3.6 meters of water that could flood into these residential areas in Tampa Bay, and also more widespread flooding from 5 to 10 inches, that is 13 to 25 centimeters. Rain coming to mainland Florida and the Florida Keys. As much as 15 inches, that's 38 centimeters, could fall in places in these areas. And you already see cars are waiting in line here, like today, to get to Costco in Altamonte Springs. This is where this picture was taken. Residents are trying to prepare for the impact of approaching Hurricane Milton. So the Tampa metro area, guys, this is something that you have to understand. We're not talking about a small town or just a few people. The Tampa metro area has a population of more than 3.3 million people. That is immense. It's a huge population. And the problem is this population is very exposed. And on top of that, it's very inexperienced with hurricanes. And that is a losing proposition. That is what the Massachusetts Institute of Technology says. Their meteorology professor, Kerry Emanuel, is saying that. And he also says, quote, "I always thought Tampa would be the city that we have to worry about most should something like this happen." And now it seems like it is happening. So much of Florida's west coast is under hurricane storm surge watches. Also, there was a hurricane warning issued for parts of Mexico, but that is now expected to get sideswiped. So Mexico seems to be out of the woods for now, but Florida. Milton has intensified quickly today over the eastern Gulf of Mexico. It had maximum sustained winds of 175 miles per hour. That's 282 kilometers. The National Hurricane Center is reporting. So the storm's center today is about 700 miles, that's 1,126 kilometers, southwest of Tampa midday, moving east-southeast at 9 miles, 15 kilometers per hour towards Tampa. That's why they think it'll reach Tampa on Wednesday. And the Tampa Bay area is still rebounding from Helene and the powerful surge that came with it. 12 people were lost in Tampa in that surge there. And the worst damage that has been done to this area is along a string of barrier islands that are on the coast there from St. Petersburg to Clearwater. So they're really having a race to collect the debris that is there. So they have deployed 300 vehicles that should gather debris. They started Sunday, but they have encountered problems. So they had all the trucks filled with debris. They were going to the landfill, but then the landfill gate was locked. Nobody was there. So state troopers then came and they used a rope, tied it to a pickup truck, and they busted it open. And what DeSantis has said in an interview, he said, we don't have time for bureaucracy and red tape. We need to get things done. And I think he's right. If you look at what's happening in North Carolina, it's just a disgrace, in my opinion. So DeSantis has said again, this debris is going to be flying missiles. It has to be cleared. I really, really hope that they will manage to do that. One of the peninsulas that forms Tampa Bay in Pinellas County, for example, the lifeguards there have removed beach chairs from the beach because they could be flying objects. Imagine that, guys. These heavy, large beach chairs, but also other items that could take flight in strong winds, like stoves, chairs, refrigerators, and kitchen tables, right? That's all stuff that's still debris that's waiting there to be picked up. And some residents are saying that they're frustrated that more debris hasn't been picked up or hasn't been collected sooner. For example, Hillsborough County, that is where Tampa is, has ordered evacuations for areas adjacent to Tampa Bay and for all mobile and manufactured homes by Tuesday night, because these homes are the least stable homes when it comes to storms, hurricanes, tornadoes.
Some of the predictions are saying that Pinellas County, to the south of us, the entire county is going to be underwater. So this is something that I have never seen in my life. And I can tell you that anyone who was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area has never seen anything like this before. People need to get out. If we have that predicted storm surge, it is not survivable.
Biden has approved an emergency declaration for Florida, and it seems that 7,000 federal workers were mobilized to help out in one of the largest mobilizations of federal personnel in history. Why are they not sending more people to North Carolina is my questions. Another problem that they're dealing with there right now is also, remember in 2017 when Hurricane Irma hit, about 7 million people were urged to evacuate Florida. That was an exodus that has jammed freeways, has clogged gas stations. And the problem is now some people who took part in this evacuation, they have vowed to never evacuate again. So is Florida now facing a problem of residents that want to stay at home that are not evacuating? This could be absolutely devastating. And already by today, by Monday morning in Florida, some gas stations in the Fort Myers and Tampa areas have already run out of gas. Gas is still continuing to arrive in Florida, and the state has amassed hundreds of thousands of gallons of gasoline and diesel fuel, and more is on the way. That's what DeSantis has said. And we've already seen today that there's a steady stream of vehicles that's heading towards the Florida Panhandle on Interstate 75. That's the main highway, basically on the west side of the peninsula, that gets people out of the peninsula. Traffic, of course, is clogged on the southbound lines of the highway for miles, as other residents are headed for the relative safety of Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Like, basically, they're going to the other side of the state, right? But if something should hit there, then it's not so good. Where would they go, right? But I hope that this prediction where Milton will make landfall is quite precise. And of course, since there's an evacuation going on, they have suspended all toll fees in West and Central Florida. Also, the state transportation officials have allowed motorists to use the left shoulders of the northbound Interstate 75 and eastbound Interstate 4 while they were evacuating, right? The more lanes you have, the better, the faster, the less clogging. Milton is really intensifying faster than normal, some people say. So Milton's wind speed has increased by 92 miles per hour. That is 148 kilometers per hour in only 24 hours. That's a pace that trails only the speeds of Hurricane Wilma that was happening in 2005 and Hurricane Felix in 2007. So one reason they think that Milton has intensified so rapidly is basically that it has a small, how they call it, like pinhole eye, the eye of the storm, just like Wilma had. So that's what a researcher of the Colorado State University says, a hurricane researcher. His name is Phil Klotzbach. So the storm will likely go through something what is called an eye wall replacement cycle. That's a natural process that forms a new eye of the storm and then expands the storm in size but weakens its wind speeds. So that's what's most likely going to happen with Milton. What the experts are saying is, where is the fuel coming from Milton? That's coming from the Gulf of Mexico because it's unusually warm right now. So that fuels the storm. And they think that Milton probably went over an extra warm area that helped goose it further. So the last hurricane that had a Category 5 and made landfall in the United States was Michael in 2018. And it feels like so many storms are passing through Florida right now. So it has been over 20 years that so many storms are crisscrossing Florida in such a short period of time. But it has happened before. In 2004, an unprecedented 5 storms have struck Florida within 6 weeks, including 3 of them were hurricanes that pummeled Central Florida. And we still have other parts of Florida's Gulf Coast that are still recovering from storms, like the Fort Myers area in southwest Florida is still rebuilding from Hurricane Ian, which cost $112 billion in damage in 2022. Also, in the last 13 months, like 3 hurricanes have trashed Florida's Big Bend region in only 13 months. That includes Helene. So the only thing we can do is wait and hope that it won't be that bad. When Milton is supposed to make landfall on Wednesday, I will keep you updated on this, guys. Check out my other videos. There is interesting stuff going on in Iceland. 5.0 at Bardarbunga, 4.5 at Bardarbunga, 3.9, 3.2, going on over a few days constantly. So what is happening there, but not only at Bardarbunga in Iceland, other volcanoes in Iceland, and another peninsula in Iceland is rumbling there at a volcano. And they're even thinking, is this connected connected with the Reykjanes Peninsula? So is the whole thing blowing up? I've made a video about this that gives you all the explanation, guys. I think you should know this. And if you're new here, like this video and subscribe. Would love to see here. And if you want to join my channel as a member, the link is in the description, or just click the join button. I would love to see you here for exclusive behind the scenes videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, be prepared, be aware. Thank you. My heart goes out to everyone that's watching that's affected by these terrible storms. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.